So let's resume from where we left off in the previous video. Uh, Now we have the users and their logins for the WordPress dashboard. The first one that I tried was Nick James, and I thought that maybe if his password is admin, he's probably the user with the most privileges in the WordPress dashboard. And I spent quite a lot of time there trying to upload a PHP shell. So the next step, once we have the logins for the WordPress, would be to try to upload a PHP shell and find a way or get a way into the server. And I spent quite a lot of time browsing through Nick James's WordPress dashboard, and I wasn't able to find a way to upload a PHP shell. And after about an hour or so, I was at a point where I thought of quitting. But then I thought, if we have the logins for more than one user, why not try and log in with each one of them and see maybe that their dashboard would have different privileges or different permissions uh, for WordPress. And this is really one important point that I have to make. So it's always a good idea to take a few steps back and try different things when you get stuck, because uh, you might find your resolution. So there's not only one way in which you could get access into a server. So if you're at a point where you get stuck, try something different. So what I did here was try logging in with MaxBucky and the password kernel. And MaxBucky's WordPress had even fewer privileges than Nick James, so no luck there. But then I got to George Miller, and let's see, George Miller, which is the user that I'm logged in right now, has much more privileges or options or permissions over here. So I'd say that George Miller is more of an admin than Nick James. So I was able to go to the plugins directory, and there were three plugins there, and the first two of them didn't allow for editing PHP files, so editing their PHP. But the third one, this textile one.php, allowed for editing the file, and we're just gonna do that right now. So this is the code to upload a PHP shell, and right now I have to find out what my IP is over here. So if config, so is 104, and we'll connect through port 4445. So we'll set up a netcat LVP 4445, and then we're just gonna update this file. Okay, so we should have had a shell over here. So 04. Oh yeah, right. So we have to execute it. So once we have the file updated, we'll have to execute it. So we'll just browse to this file, which is in the WP content plugins textile 1.php. I guess this is it, and we should have our shell up and running. And there you have it. So we are into the server as Apache. So once we get into the server, we'll have to go through. So the next step would be to try to escalate our privileges from the low privileged user Apache to root. So in order for us to escalate our privileges to root, we should look out for sensitive files and also for misconfigured services and permissions, which could ease our privilege escalation. And in the first few vulnerable machines that I went through, I tried doing it manually by looking into, for example, the guide from Got Milk, let's say Got Milk Basic Privilege Escalation. Yeah. So this is a great way to start when you're inside the server and you want to escalate your privileges. It shows, it gives you a very big list of commands that you can run to find misconfigured services and permissions. So this is a good manual way to start. But there have been a couple of scripts that automate this process. So let's say Linux basic, let's say privesc, and let's say Python. I know there's a script in Python. Yes, this is the one. So Linux privchecker.py. So if it's always a good way, if you don't know how to do it, it's always a good way to start with these and go through each command itself and see where it leads you. But once you have done this for a couple of times, to ease up and to speed up the process, you can simply use one of these scripts like Linux privchecker, and another one I guess was Unix privesc check. Yeah. So yeah, this one. But we'll use, for this purpose, we'll use Linux privesc check. So we'll just have to download it onto the server into one folder in which we have permission to download. So let's first try to escape this shell with Python -c import PTI spawn. So we'll spawn a bin bash shell. Okay, let's see where we're at. So we're in the plugins directory. Let's head over to, so I've already done this. Let's head over to temp. And I've downloaded the privchecker.py, and we actually will have to execute this file. So let's say Python Linux privchecker, which will automate the process that we saw on Godmilk's blog. And I think it also includes more commands, not only those that are on Godmilk's website, but additional commands to check even for exploits. So .py, and we can just direct this to, let's say, out3.txt. So right now it doesn't display on the screen, it doesn't show the output on the screen, but it actually prints it all the way to out3.txt. And once we finish this, we'll move it to one of the WordPress directories, and we'll access it for better visualization through the WordPress panel. Okay, so we can just cat it, but let's not cat it. Let's just say move out3.txt to I think, let's see what's inside home. Let's just cat it. So cat out3.txt. We can read it. We can also read it over here. So there's a lot of output in this file. We have the system information, which you could have got it with uname -a, and there's a lot of output over here. So you'd probably spend a lot of time on this going through and trying what this priv escalation checker gave you. But I probably start if they give you suggested exploits that you should try over here. So finding relevant privilege escalation exploits, you should probably start with them. So and you have the links to their exploit DB files. So I actually tried quite a few of these, and the first one that I tried was the MySQL one. So these are ranked higher in probability of success. So I figured why not start with these ones. So I started with this one, user defined function local privilege escalation. Let's see what it's all about. So for this exploit, you'd have to know the username and the password for the MySQL database, the password for the root. And I tried this exploit first because while I was looking through the files on this server, I went to wp-config. So let me see. Let's go to var ww. Let's go to HTML. Let's go to academic RTB1. Okay, and now we have here the wp-config.php. Let's look at it. So we have the username, root, and the password for the MySQL database. So if we know that we can try using this script. So we'll just say MySQL -u root, and the password is this one. And we're actually into the MySQL as root, and right now we can start executing these commands. So after we've compiled the exploit, we'll go to we'll log in on the MySQL database as root with the password, and we'll just let's say use MySQL. So use MySQL, and then we're just gonna try to do all the commands they say in here, and then when we execute these commands, I kind of got stuck on this command, and I wasn't able to move forward because of some user permission. So I spent at least half an hour here trying to figure out if there's any workaround, but I wasn't able to, so I couldn't execute this exploit all the way to the end. And as you can see here, when you escape, when you get out of the MySQL database and you cat tmp.out, you'll actually be root. But anyway, so let's get out of the MySQL. So let's get back to TMP, and I could just, like I said, I could just copy the out file, so out3.txt for better visualization, but this is optional. So let's say copy out3.txt to var www.html academic RTB1 w content uploads. Let's just copy it to uploads. Uploads out3.txt. So no such file or directory. Let's copy it to plugins. Okay, so it is inside plugins. So we'll head over to view it inside the browser. So it's out3.txt. Okay, so it's easier to understand rather than seeing it inside the terminal. So as I was saying, I kept trying all these exploits, and none of them worked until I got to the RDS one, which should be, let's say, RDS. Yeah, this one. So let's head over to this exploit. Okay, let's get back to TMP. I think I've downloaded it, so it is 15285. But let me just re-download it and execute it for exemplification purpose. Let's make another directory. Let's say dir2. Let's get into dir2 and let's download this one. Okay, so we'll have to use no check certificate. No check certificate. Okay, so it downloaded it. So we'll check once again who we are. We are Apache. Then we're gonna compile it. -0.14285. Okay, and then we're gonna give it permission for execution, and then we'll actually execute it, and it should give us root. Okay, so who am I? So we are root right now. Let's go to the root folder, and right here we have our flag, so cat key.txt. Okay, so this is actually the challenge. This is the capture the flag Hackademic RTB1. So a few points to cover, and I'll reiterate. Once you're inside the server, if you haven't done privilege escalation, if you've never done it, you should try with, and there are also other guides to privilege escalation, not only Godmilk, which is like 7 years old at this time, but if you just Google local privilege escalation tutorial, you'll find, let's see, local privilege escalation tutorial. I think you'll find quite a few results which are like newer ones, like this one from 2016. So anyway, if you've never done local privilege escalation, you should try with them doing it manually, and only thereafter to start using scripts like Linux Priv Checker, and the other one was Unix Priv Check or Privask Check, which is this one, and this is, I think it's a bash, or yeah, it's a shell script. So once inside the server, either do it manually or download one of these privilege escalation scripts, and you should download it inside a folder in which you have permission to download it. So one of the first one that you should try is the temp one. Okay, and then when you run the script, after you run it and you get your output, like I did here, probably start with the exploits they suggest, and only thereafter see what the rest of the output tells you or suggests you to do. Okay, so I guess this is it for this capture the flag. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more cybersecurity related videos, please let me know in either of the comment sections below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.